Alright, I'm going to make a video again, and it's going to be about women being inferior to men or not. Or maybe more so, better than men. So, anyway, I'm going to tell them live, or if I'm really alive, I'm going to see that. Alright, so are women really inferior to men? Well, I would say no. And they're not better than men, but they're not inferior to men. Now, they do have their weaknesses, and us men do have our weaknesses. Women, for one thing, are better at men at not falling under lust. And women don't like sexual activity as much as men, even though they portray themselves as sexual activity to men. Men do not. So that's one thing that they're really better than men at in regard to, you know, not as intent to do that sin. Another thing that women are better at than men are really, they can be psycho in a different way, but they're really better than men at a mental balance. They have more mental balance than men, other than men having less of a mental balance than women. Men are more likely to be mental than women. Look it up. I believe that's true, and I believe that's to be the thing. And men shall have their abominations, and women shall have their abominations. But women are stronger than men at realizing that they're thinkers. If a boy was raped, he would never really get across being raped at all. He would not be strong enough. I mean, women are not strong. I mean, they're just equally strong enough, I would say. But, if a boy was raped, he would just totally freak out. And he would become more likely to be a rapist than a woman. So that's a problem. So that's where he is, that's where she is better. And she is better at imagination than men are. Much better than imagination than men are. That is a strength in some ways or another. They can really imagine heaven. They can imagine their royal princesses and princesses in heaven because they really imagine heaven as being a royal beauty area, because in reality the Garden of Eden was meant for women, and so was heaven. I meant to say. So basically, heaven is really a place meant for the women to thrive while men rule. Women are the ones that are, you know, caretakers of the gardens, and they're the ones that are in paradise while the men are thriving to be rulers. So the women have more joy in heaven. And also, women are good at you know, they're really good at convincing. Convincing that's gonna be okay. They're good at being convincers of, you know, they're actually better at convincing men to do certain things than women are to men. Or as in men are to women. Basically women are better at convincing men to do things than men are convincing women to do things to men, because they're stronger to even women are older to even women are stronger than men at keeping promises than men are to women. So I would say that women are better promise keepers than men are. And women can hold less pain than men can. And a lot of women, they are precious to vessels to men because they can hold the baby. They also hold the baby, and they're meant to withstand a lot of pain, even though they're weaker. But they can withstand a lot of pain, and they can. I know this is better for, but basically, um, they can do. They can handle a lot of stress for the body. That's why they hold the baby, and that's why they give birth. And women are better at stress than men. Women are truly better at stress than men in most stressful situations. Even though they talk a lot, men are the ones that go mental because they can fight the stress like it's gonna be better for the one day or another because there's gonna be better outcome. They can handle that. Men, they can barely handle that to the strongest extent, even though they can be stressed out for some women. But you know, and the funny thing is, women don't commit as much suicide as men do because it's not because they're bad at it, because they don't want to do it. So they know the outcome. They're actually better not committing suicide than men. Men just violently go with the flow. I'm sorry. So, in every regard, let's go by the men. Men are better at women at preaching than women are, even though women are better at keeping silent than men are when they want to. Also, um, men are stronger than women, so that's a fact. Physically, I meant to say, they're better rulers than women, even though women are better designers than men, not women. Women are better than designers than men are, and men are better preachers than women are. They're better physically strength. Men are basically better spiritually than women are, and the sixth one I would say is they can spiritually withstand Satan better than women can, but also, you know, I would say that men are in wiser than women in some other ways or another, while women are wiser than men in other ways. So really, that's 7 and 13. But the 14th thing about women is they know men better than men would know women. So we are really, I mean, we have very strong points, and women have a lot of strong points. They have lessers, and we have biggers, but we have less than women do with strong points. So really, we are equal in strength in every regard, except for how strong we are compared to each other by God's standards. If you ask a woman to, let's say, design clothing, they'll do it. If you ask a man to design a building, they'll do it. Because a man is better than a woman at designing man things, and woman is better than a man at designing woman things. So, if you're really wondering why has God made me in this body, well, ask yourself, how will I react if I were really a man in a woman's body or a woman in a man's body? How would I react to that? Because you'll probably be the poorest person in the whole entire world if you did that, spiritually and physically. Trust me, we are meant for a man's body and a woman's body. Women have more strength than men, but men have stronger strengths than women. A woman really knows how to nurture and to care for the child, while the man is the strict one for the child. Remember, women are equal to men, but men have their strength and women have their strengths. And let man and women have their own strengths And even if they have their own weaknesses, let them have it too, so that they can build each other up on their own strengths and weaknesses. That's how God works, and that's how we're supposed to work as well. So remember, it's not up to us to decide what we want to do with our strengths and weaknesses. It's up to God. That's all I have to say, okay? All right, they'll be done now, okay? Bye.